The Hulk is one of Marvel Comics' most popular characters. He's also had several movie portrayals, which is why there are so many different versions of him. Which is best? That's for us to decide. In this top 10, we will count down the best versions of the Hulk. Starting with number 10, Bruce Banner from the Incredible Hulk TV series. Yes, it's the Hulk, but it's not really the Hulk. The character is actually Bruce Banner, a scientist who transformed himself into an enormous green rage monster to save a young boy from radiation poisoning. And that's how the Hulk was born. When Bruce would get angry, he would turn into the Hulk, losing all sense of self-preservation. The Hulk became incredibly powerful, capable of destroying planets, and even going toe-to-toe with some Marvel Comics' most powerful beings. His strength was only matched by his anger issues. But while he has been part of the Avengers in the comics, this version of the Hulk was more of an outcast. Even though he was one of the most powerful heroes around, he wasn't exactly welcome at parties. He was too much of a handful. Number 9. Mark Ruffalo. You could say, Mark Ruffalo was kind of born for this role. He has played the Hulk in several MCU films over the years, and he's arguably one of the best parts about them. He brings a great sense of snarky humor to the role. Plus, he does a fantastic job at portraying Bruce Banner's inner turmoil. Mark Ruffalo's portrayal of the Hulk may be the most scientifically accurate of any film to date. According to scientists at the University of California, when they analyzed Mark Ruffalo's performance, his depiction of the Hulk matches gamma-ray exposure, GEP. According to these experts, his performance is exactly what a person exposed to gamma rays would look like. The Hulk went on to become a founding member of the Avengers in the MCU, and he remains one of the team's most powerful members. While Mark Ruffalo hasn't been given the chance to go full Hulk just yet, we think he'd do an amazing job if he were given the opportunity. No. 8. A rather large frog. Yes, that's right. In the Ultimate Universe, the Hulk became a giant frog. Bing. This version of the Hulk is pretty much the same as the mainstream version, except for the fact that he turned into a literal frog at one point. It happened because of a botched attempt at a cure by Tony Stark, aka Iron Man. However, the frog version of the Hulk was still extremely powerful, gaining frog-like abilities such as jumping and climbing, but with Hulk strength behind them. This version of the Hulk did have a weakness. However, unlike the regular Hulk, who's almost unstoppable when he's angry, this Hulk was actually calmer than Bruce Banner's usual self. This Hulk only used his incredible power whenever he felt calm. When he was angry or stressed, he was much weaker, which made him a lot less effective as a superhero. Still, it was awesome to see the Hulk become a frog. We hope to see something similar in the MCU someday. No. 7. Edward Norton. Believe it or not, Edward Norton was actually the second actor to play the Hulk after Eric Boehner. He starred in the film The Incredible Hulk and was a huge hit with fans. Many people consider him to be the best live-action version of the Hulk, despite having less screen time than Mark Ruffalo. It's no secret that Edward Norton is a very talented actor, and he definitely showed that with his portrayal of Bruce Banner. Not only did he capture Bruce's intelligence and scientific genius, but he also showed the inner turmoil that Bruce dealt with on a daily basis. Bruce always feared he would lose control and turn into the Hulk permanently. Unfortunately, Norton and Marvel Studios couldn't come to an agreement on a contract, so Norton left the company. Thankfully, Mark Ruffalo came along and took over the role. But we'll always cherish the time we got with Norton's version of the Hulk. No. 6. Amadeus Cho. Most people don't know this, but the Hulk's alter ego isn't always Bruce Banner. At one point, the Hulk merged with the brain of Amadeus Cho, a young child genius. Amadeus was already quite powerful before this event, but things went into overdrive once he merged with the Hulk. Amadeus was able to retain his personality and intellect, and combine that with the Hulk's strength. In other words, we got a really smart Hulk. Amadeus used his brains to come up with battle plans and strategies that allowed him to defeat some really powerful enemies. This version of the Hulk was awesome, because we got to see someone other than Bruce Banner take on the role. And Amadeus did a great job, although he would later revert back to being the totally awesome Hulk. Number 5. Red Hulk. Now here's a Hulk that you probably didn't expect to see on this list. The Red Hulk isn't actually a different version of the Hulk. Instead, it's a completely different person. The Red Hulk's real name is General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. For most of his life, Thunderbolt Ross was a military man who often butted heads with the Hulk. However, during the event, World War Hulk, Thunderbolt was caught in the crossfire of a battle between the Hulk and the intelligentsia. This caused him to be bathed in gamma radiation, transforming him into the Red Hulk. While he's not the same as Bruce Banner's Hulk, he's still one of the strongest Hulks out there. The Red Hulk's powers are essentially identical to the original Hulk's, with the exception of energy manipulation. Unlike the Hulk, the Red Hulk can absorb, manipulate, and redirect energy blasts. Number 4. Bill Bixby. Bill Bixby portrayed the Hulk in the 1978 television series The Incredible Hulk. It was the first live-action adaptation of the character, and it ran for 5 seasons. Back then, they did things a little differently. Instead of turning into the Hulk, Bruce Banner simply looked like Bill Bixby. He had a lab coat and green face paint, but somehow it worked, and it's still one of the best depictions of the Hulk to date. They might have changed the way the Hulk looks, but they nailed his attitude. The show followed Bruce Banner as he traveled around the United States, changing cities every week. He would then find himself in another jam, which would lead to him getting angry and turning green. In the pilot episode, it was explained that Banner's transformations would only stop when he found a cure for his condition. No. 3. Glenn Close. Okay, so we're skipping over Ty Burrell for some reason. Anyway, Glenn Close played the villainous CEO of a pharmaceutical company named Betty Ross in the 2003 film Hulk. While she isn't the Hulk, she definitely played a role in creating the Hulk. D. The film starts with her getting engaged to Bruce Banner, a scientist who has developed an amazing new technology. However, her father, General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, disapproves of the engagement, believing that Bruce is unstable. He is, of course, correct, and Bruce ends up accidentally transforming into the Hulk, which destroys the company that he was working for. Betty is transformed into a monstrous creature herself, but she's saved by Bruce. She then becomes the main love interest for the Hulk and becomes a prominent part of his life. Unfortunately, the film wasn't received well by critics. Despite this, Glenn Close gave an amazing performance. No. 2. Lou Ferrigno. Lou Ferrigno played the Hulk in the 1978 television series The Incredible Hulk. Yes, there were 2 versions of The Incredible Hulk running concurrently. Both versions actually followed the same storyline, but they differed in tone. The Incredible Hulk starring Bill Bixby was much more lighthearted and comedic, while The Incredible Hulk starring Lou Ferrigno was much more serious. Ferrigno was also responsible for providing the Hulk's voice. Before he landed the role, he was an amateur bodybuilder who went on to win Mr. America and Mr. Universe competitions. So yeah, Lou Ferrigno was definitely the right choice to play the Hulk. He was incredibly ripped and had the perfect build for the role. While his acting skills weren't the best, he more than made up for it with his physicality. Number 1. World War Hulk. If you've never read the comic book series that brought us the World War Hulk storyline, then you are missing out. World War Hulk is easily one of the best Hulk stories ever told. It follows the Hulk as he leaves Earth and travels to the planet Saka. There he becomes a gladiator and eventually the champion. However, word reaches the Hulk that someone is trying to destroy the Illuminati, the group of heroes responsible for sending him away. Wanting revenge, the Hulk returns to Earth and immediately goes to war with the Illuminati. The fight is long and brutal, but in the end, the Hulk comes out on top, even though he doesn't get the victory he was looking for. The story is filled with incredible action, drama, and some really cool moments. Well, that's all the time we have for today. But if you want to see another top 10, then click on this link right here. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.